Marley was as dead as a doornail. There was no doubt whatsoever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clerk, the clergyman, the undertaker, the chief mourner, and even by old Scrooge himself. Ebenezer Scrooge and Jacob Marley were business partners, for I don't know how many years. Old Scrooge never printed out old Marley's name. There it stood, years after Marley died, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley. Oh, but Scrooge was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone. Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, tempestuous old sinister, hard and as sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire. Secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster, the cold within him froze his old feature, nipped at his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, and made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and he spoke out shrewdly in a grating voice.
Humbug!
He carried his own low temperature always about with him, and it was a degree or two lower at Christmas. Nobody ever stopped Scrooge in the street to say,
"My dear Scrooge, how are you? When will you come to see me?"
Never. Get away.
no beggars ever stopped to beg from him.
for a Paul Bacon, please?
Get a job.
No children ever came up to him and said,
"Pardon me, sir. What's the clock is it?"
Get a watch.
nor did anyone on the street inquire the way to the home of Ebenezer Scrooge. But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked. Once upon a time, of all the good days of the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat in his counting house, keeping his eye on his clerk, who sat copying letters in the cold room, when in walked his nephew.
Well, Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug.
Christmas? A humbug, Uncle? Oh, you can't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. Who do I have you to be married? You're poor enough.
Come then. What right do you have to be Morris? What reason do you have to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug.
Oh, come then. What? Don't be cross, Uncle.
You keep Christmas in your own way, and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Well, let me leave it alone then. Much good it may do you, much good it may ever do you.
Oh, I believe it has done me good. It will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
Bah!
Christmas is the only time of year I know of in the long calendar when men and women seem by one consent to open their shutter parts freely and to think of one another as fellow passengers to the grave and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys.
You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow.
To celebrate something I don't believe in? Humbug!
But why? Why?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm very sorry you won't come, but I'll keep my Christmas humor to last, though. Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon!
Merry Christmas to you, Crush.
Oh, and a happy new, and same to you, and a happy New Year, so.
Bah! There's another crazy fellow, my clerk, with 15 shillings a week, a wife and a family, talking about a Merry Christmas. Humbug!
The clerk, in letting out Scrooge's nephew, let in another man who, with hat off, stepped into Scrooge's office.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge and Mr. Marley.
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago this very night.
Oh, I'm sorry, but no doubt his generosity was well respected by his surviving partner at this festive season of the year. Mr. Scrooge, is more than unusually desirable that we should make some slight provisions for the poor.
Are there no prisons?
Why, yes.
Isn't there the workhouses?
Well, I wish I could say there were not, but people rather die than go there.
Well, then they had better do it and increase the surplus population. And have they stopped collecting taxes?
Why not?
I was beginning to wonder if these institutions for the poor have been done away with.
Why no, but at this festive season, when one is keenly felt and abundance rejoices, we have hopes of relieving the suffering and the poor and needy. What shall we put you down for?
Nothing. I wish to be left alone.
But, sir,
I don't make merry most after Christmas. I can't afford to make other people merry. I pay my taxes. That's enough. Now, good afternoon.
The gentleman withdrew. and Scrooge resumed his labors with an unimproved opinion of himself. Meanwhile, the fog and darkness thickened in the late afternoon. At the length of the hour of shutting up the counting house arrived. With an ill will, Scrooge dismounted from his stool and reluctantly dismissed his anxious clerk, who instantly snuffed out his candle and put on his hat.
You want all day off tomorrow, I suppose?
It's quite convenient, Joe.
It's not convenient and it's not fair. Paying a day's wages for no work.
But it's only once a year.
A pork used for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
Oh, why you so? And a Merry Christmas, so.
By way with you and your Merry Christmas, humbug.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner alone in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and examined his business accounts, went home.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle
Humbug!
Ah!
Scrooge lived in chambers, which had once belonged to his dead partner, Jacob Marley. As Scrooge approached the front door, barely visible in the darkness of the fog, the huge brass knocker suddenly changed into old Marley's face.
What's this? Marley!
There was a dismal light about Marley's face, and his hair was curiously stirred, as if by a breath of rushing air. And though his eyes were wide open, they were perfectly motionless. And as Scrooge stared at this strange sight, the face became the brass knocker again.
Oh, bah, my eyes are playing tricks on me. It's only the brass knocker I've seen 1,000 times.
Scrooge entered and shut the door with a bang.
Bang!
But Scrooge was not a man easily frightened. He fastened the door and walked across the hall and up the stairs with a single candle in his hand. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. He undressed in his bedroom, closed the door, and locked himself in. He undressed and put on his bedclothes and night hat and sat down before the fire to eat his gruel.
Humbug. What's that? It's humbug still, I won't believe it!
Without a pause, it came up, 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 and through the heavy iron door that was locked. It was the same face that appeared on the knocker. It was Marley's ghost. He dragged a chain collapsed about his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail. It was made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, and heavy ledgers, as if from their own business office. His body was transparent.
What do you want with me? Who are you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. Do you believe in me?
No, I don't. Go away.
Why doubt your senses?
Any little thing can affect the senses. Slight disorder of the stomach. You may be in under just a bit of beef, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. Yes, that's what you are.
Mercy! Worthy man, do you believe in me or not?
I do. I believe. But why do spirits walk the earth? Why do you come to me?
He who goes not forth among his fellow men in life is condemned to do so after death. He is doomed to wander through the world and look upon his lost happiness.
You are chained. Why?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made these fetters link by link. Your chain, Scrooge, will be a heavy one too, for it was full, as heavy, and as long as the 7 Christmas Eves ago.
Oh, you're always good to me, Jacob. You're always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common good was my business. Charity, mercy, and love were all my businesses. At this time of the rolling year I suffer most, Why did I walk through the crowd with my eyes turned down, and never raise unto that stalwart guiding a wise man to a poor, humble stable? Well, no poor home sorts of delight could have led me.
Oh, but Jacob, what can I do?
Hear me. My time is nearly gone. I'm here tonight to warn you, Scrooge.
You're always good to me, Jacob.
Listen! You will be haunted by 3 spirits tonight.
I think I'd rather not.
It is your chance to escape my fate.
Couldn't I have all 3 at once and have it over with?
They will come tonight, one by one. Farewell, Scrooge. Remember, remember!
The ghost of Jacob Marley walked, or floated, to the window which by itself opened slowly. Through the window came a confusion of noises, sounds of regret, wailings of inexpressible sorrow. Then with his chains wrapped about him, he floated out upon the bleak, dark night. Scrooge closed the window and examined the door through which the ghost had came. It was still locked! Weary from the frightening visit of the ghost, he went straight to bed and fell asleep instantly. It was nearly midnight.